Hey everyone, Joe here with the Idaho Prepper channel, and today we're going to be heading up and exploring some new territory not too far from where I live and testing out some new gear that I've added to my winter bug out system. So stay tuned, this should be a good one. So as you can see, this pack out is a lot more extensive than I would normally create for a bug out expedition. And so that's not what I'm trying to achieve for this trip. I'm actually just going out to explore some new terrain and test out some gear and really just have fun. So I'll go ahead briefly kind of walk you through some of the things that I'm going to be taking, and then we'll head off because it's starting to snow. So I got to get moving. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be bringing with me are these really well insulated mittens. They are lined with deerskin on the palm here, and they just keep my hands really warm when it's cold out. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be bringing, and this is going to be on my person, it's not going to be in the sled. I've done videos on this system before, but it's just my chest rig system. It has a bunch of essential items in here, like a knife, flashlight. It also has some navigation supplies. But most importantly, I'm going to be keeping my defensive pistol in here as well. All right, the next item is going to be the shovel, because we are probably going to be getting into some snow, and you're definitely going to want a shovel with you if you're going to be camping up in the snow. The next thing in this kit is this sleeping mat. So this is an air-filled sleeping mat. This is a thermarest, and it's just a great pad. It'll keep me really comfortable and warm at night. I'm also going to be taking along with me this Baofeng. This is a GMRS radio. I just did a review, or a short review on this radio, but I'm going to be leaving one behind at my house, and I'm going to be communicating with my wife just to test this out. All right, the next piece of gear I'm going to be bringing with me are these Vortex binoculars. I just picked these up and I haven't had a chance to use them, so I'm excited to get these out and test these out. So these are going to be a key part in exploring this new terrain. I'm also going to be bringing along with me my Ruger 1022. So I've done a lot of review videos on this rifle here, but this is just my go-to rifle when I'm going out and doing solo overnights. So the next piece of gear I'm going to be bringing with me is this sleeping bag. This is a Browning Kenai. It is rated for minus 20 degrees. So I'm going to be plenty warm in this sleeping bag. So like I said, this trip is just going to be centered around exploring the area, testing out some gear, and having fun. So you're going to see a lot of different creature comforts in this pack out. Speaking of creature comforts, I'm going to be bringing along with me this portable buddy heater. So I don't know if I'm going to need to use this, but I kind of thought I would bring it along with me just to see how it would do in my tent. So I'm excited to use this and see if it doesn't gas me out of my tent. Okay, the next piece of gear I'm going to be bringing with me is this small pup tent. This is a canvas French military tent. So I have done a video on this tent before, and I had a lot of people asking me in the comment section what kind of tent this is. So this is a tent that I picked up on eBay about 10 years ago or more. But it is a French military tent, but it is the canvas version. So this is just a really great tent. It's a little on the heavy side, but it's perfect for one person solo overnight. All right, and last but not least, I have my bug out bag, and there are some items in here that I've swapped out that I normally carry as my bug out system, but like I said, this is the one bag that I kind of have to work out of. So when I go and do trips, I usually end up having to swap out bug out gear for the gear that's specific for whatever trip I'm going on. But that pretty much includes everything that I'm keeping with me in this pack out. So let's get up into the woods before we get snowed out here. I just discovered this pond on my way to my destination. So this is pretty cool. It's nice to know this is here. So I'm sure in the spring and summertime, there's probably a creek here that feeds this pond. So it's things like that that you can only discover if you go out and start exploring the terrain on your own. That's something that you'd probably never be able to pick up on a map. Even if you know, on Google Earth, that probably wouldn't even show up. So nice to know that's there. All right, well, the snow's definitely starting to come down now, so I got to get up to my location quick, make up for all that lost time cutting that piece of wood. All right, well, I've kind of come to a stopping point here. If you'll notice, there are just fallen trees all the way down this trailhead here. So way too many for me to cut. I'm not even sure if I want to do that tomorrow morning. So I'll probably just call it. I'm already pretty far up into the mountains right now as it is. There was only maybe a mile or so away from the location I was shooting for, but this will do for now. Plus I got plenty of firewood for tonight, and there's actually a lot of cover. So this is just like an abandoned fire trail. It hasn't been used in quite a long time, but the area that I found is perfect for me to set up my camp for tonight. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start unloading my gear and get my camp set up. All right, so my tent is all set up and I got my rain fly on. So I'm not exactly sure how much snow we're going to be getting tonight, but I know I'm going to be plenty dry in this tent. Okay, so it's getting darker a lot faster than I thought it would, so I'm just going to go ahead and nix exploring up on the mountain, because by the time I get up there, it's just going to be too dark to see anyway. So I'm just going to stay here at camp and focus on getting some firewood procured and getting a campfire started. All right, I don't know if you can see that, but this is my Ontario Rat 7, so this should make quick work of delimbing this branch here. All right, tonight I'm gonna go ahead and get this fire started with one of my trusty homemade fire starters. And if you're interested in purchasing any of my homemade fire starters, I'll make sure to go ahead and leave a link to my eBay store where you can go ahead and pick some of these up. So for tonight's dinner, I'm going to be trying out this Special Ops MRE by Nutrient Survival. Looks like the first thing in the kit is this triple cheese macaroni. And then we have a creamy chocolate shake. Then we have some home-style scramble. Looks like some scrambled eggs for tomorrow. And then we have some maple almond granola crunch. So it just looks like some trail mix or something. And then here looks like a peanut butter granola bar. And then the last two things in the kit, looks like they have some lemon lime drink mix and some coffee. That's like a full day's meal right there. Well, I haven't eaten anything for about 5 hours, so I'm gonna just go ahead and break into this peanut butter granola bar and check this out. As you can see, it's pretty thick. Yeah, you can tell that's heavy-duty protein bar. But again, with Nutrient Survival, it's like all their food is not too sugary, which I really like. And that definitely helps you when you're out in a survival situation, especially if it's cold outside. The last thing you want to do is be consuming a lot of sugar, which is just going to break down your immunity. So it's always good to make sure that the food you have with you is relatively healthy. So this is one of the items that I just recently picked up. It's just a basic 32-ounce Nalgene bottle. But the Nalgene bottles are really well made, and I just wanted it because it has all the measurements here, which just makes cooking your freeze-dried meals a lot easier. I still have my other 32-ounce clean canteen full of water too, so I got plenty of water for this trip. All right, well, that granola bar was really dense, and I could barely make it through half of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the rest of this, save the rest of this for later, and start cooking up that mac and cheese. All right, so it looks like it takes 1/3 cup of water to make this meal. So I believe that is, it's like 2.6 ounces of water. Well, yeah, that's definitely starting to thicken up now. It's looking pretty good. All right, so this is about done. So I'm just gonna go ahead and sit this aside and let that cool down a little bit and thicken up. And then stoke this fire a little more. So for those of you who might be wondering if I'm armed, yes, I'm definitely armed. So I went ahead and just transferred over my pistol from my chest rig, which is where I normally carry it on excursions like this, and just transferred it over to my my holster. So I'm just keeping it in the small of my back here for this trip, and actually the knife, the belt knife that I'm bringing along with me is this EC Azula 2. So this has been featured in some of my bug out bag videos, but this is just my favorite knife. So that's what I have on my person. But I think this mac and cheese is thickened up, so I'm going to go ahead and test it out. Not exactly what I was expecting, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be too surprised, but it just tastes like healthy mac and cheese. You can imagine what that tastes like, but definitely not the best mac and cheese. As much as I like nutrient survival, you know, I'm always going to give an honest review, but it's good. I'll eat it for sure. But just kind of a little floury, but not too bad. What sucks is I actually went and bought all these little miniature hot sauces for this trip yesterday, and I forgot to bring them with me, and now I'm really kicking myself for having forgotten those, because they would have definitely improved this meal. All right, not too bad. But I will say, if you're going to go on a trip to have fun, maybe just bring some Mountain House. But for your bug out bag, I think nutrient survival is definitely the way to go. All right, so one of the new pieces of gear that I just picked up that I've been excited to use is this Baofeng GMRS radio. So I left the other one behind for my wife to transmit on. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get her to transmit. So, because I'm about probably a little over 4 miles from our house. So we'll go ahead and see if she comes in. Hey, Jenny, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Wow, that comes in pretty clear.
Yeah, you're pretty clear too, a little static.
So one of the advantages I have is that I'm up on a mountain, and our property is about 4 miles that way, way down yonder. So I'm not too surprised that I can hear because there's not that many trees in between us, but that is nice to know because I'm a good distance from her, and that's just from radio to radio. All right, she's going to put our 7-year-old daughter on.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, Ev, guess where I am?
Are you way up in the mountains?
Yes, I am. What are you guys doing?
What's it?
That sounds pretty exciting. Over. So one of the things I did add to this radio that's really helping with the transmission is this 18-inch whip antenna here. So I'll leave links in the description of where you can get these antennas with these radios. All right, well, it's now coffee time. All right, my coffee's done, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this a taste test here. Oh, it's hot. It's pretty bitter. I was kind of thinking it was going to be more like a mocha coffee because the way the mix looked, it almost looked like hot chocolate powder as opposed to like coffee crystals. But bad coffee is better than no coffee. That's what I always say. All right, you guys. Well, I'm just going to hang out, look at this fire, finish my cup of coffee, and sit back with my thoughts.
You use your left hand or your right hand for that? You wish.
All right, so one of the things I wanted to show you guys was this light that I'm using. So these lights I actually just bought for the purpose of making videos. They were never really intended to be part of like my bug out kit or for camping or anything, but they have proven to be nice little lights just for that. So they're super compact, and I just have it on this little tripod here that folds up. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just a little tripod and you can walk around, and it has adjustability. You can dim it. They get really bright. They are rechargeable, and the charge lasts for a really long time. So I'll make sure to leave a link in the description where you can buy these, but they're just great little lights. Normally I would have a headlamp on and I'd just be kind of navigating around my campsite with a headlamp. But I just set one of these up and it literally lights up the whole area. Just a great little piece of gear for your bug out excursions. Oh, I can literally feel my hands thawing out like they were frozen. Look at that. It's literally like they were frozen and they're just thawing out. I can just feel moisture coming out of them. Ooh. I do also have this Streamlight Polytac flashlight with me as well. What I like about this flashlight is that you can either just throw it in your pocket because it's small enough, or it's got this clip on the back. You can just clip it onto your belt, or it has this carabiner on top and you can just clip it like onto a zipper end or like onto your D-ring on your backpack strap. My fire's starting to do really good now. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and listen to some radio on my Baofeng radio.
And it's just not something they want to do for very good reasons. It would be a dumb move on both of their parts. But well, I doubt that you could understand my thinking. She
All right, so as you can see, the snow's starting to come down pretty good, and my fire is almost out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get in my tent and settle in for the night. But before I do that, I'm gonna show you how I have everything set up in there. Tent here. So right next to me, I have my knife, my pistol, my flashlight, my radio, and my phone, and then some readers, and then I have my light. So what else is interesting is my heater. It must have a thermostat on it because it actually shut off by itself after I had it working for about 3 minutes. So that's nice to know. It's kind of a nice safety feature. But I am excited for tomorrow to go and explore the rest of this abandoned trail. So I will see you guys in the morning. Good morning. So last night wasn't too bad. I was a little cold, but it was nice to have this heater. It definitely did the trick. So one of the issues I was having last night that was kind of keeping me awake is I must have done something to my knee when I was out there cutting all that wood and moving those logs off the trail. And so the pain from that was actually kind of keeping me up. But other than that, I slept pretty good. Yeah, the heater did really well. So like when it got cold, I would just kick it on for like 2 or 3 minutes and it would warm this place up really well. I'm gonna go ahead and get up and get some coffee going, and then we'll get to the next part of the day. All right, so we got a little bit of snow last night, but not too much. Just kind of a dusting. All right, yeah, this sled makes for a nice bench. So whatever gets me off this wet ground. So I'm not even gonna mess around with trying to get a fire going. I kind of actually just want to get my day going. So I'm just gonna be cooking my breakfast and heating up my coffee on this S-bit stove. And for breakfast, I think I'm going to have some of this Maple Almond Grain Crunch by Nutrient Survival. Kind of just looks like cereal. Tastes like cereal. Healthy cereal. These S-bit stoves are great for just boiling a cup of water or making a cup of coffee. So I'll make sure to leave a link in the description where you can pick one of these up, but they're extremely cheap. You can get the stove and a case of fuel tabs for like $10. All right, my coffee is about done. That's good. So it's really strange. As I've been sitting here for like a half an hour, the temperature just started to plunge. And at first I kind of thought it was my imagination. Like I was just sitting in one spot for too long and I was just getting cold, but the temperature really did just start to drop. And so I went and switched out my hat with this fleece beanie and put some gloves on and put my jacket on. But I just never felt a temperature shift like that before. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this cup of coffee, and then I'm going to get my campsite organized and put back together, and then we'll head off down the trail and do some more exploring. In case you're wondering how I clean my dishes without dishwashing liquid, just take some snow and pine needles or whatever Just kind of grind it around your pot, your pan like that. And that gets it pretty clean. Then I'll take a pine bough like this and just kind of scrunch it up, almost like a sponge, and just clean it just like that. There you have it. All right, we have the camp all cleaned up. So now I'm gonna start heading down this trail and seeing what we can find. Oh. I've kind of come across a bit of a Y in the road. So there's a trail that leads up this way, and then this trail just keeps going that way. So I think I want to take this smaller trail up the hill. So we'll see where that takes us. There's a lot of fallen trees around here. All these trees are just basically broken down. Unfortunately, it's just a little too cloudy today to be able to test out these binoculars, but oh well, maybe next time. Well, this trail is starting to get a lot steeper. My knee is not going to be happy about this. Starting to see some fresh, that looks like an elk. Some fresh elk tracks. They may have been here and heard me coming up the hill and just took off, because it looks like they were actually kind of running the way those tracks are. See that? Well, they definitely know I'm here. All right, so I seem to have come across a more kind of established trail. It still doesn't look like there's been a lot of traffic on here because there's a lot of weeds growing and stuff. But I noticed from my maps that this trail will eventually, it can veer off. There's kind of a Y, and then if you shoot, I don't know, north, you eventually start running into some private land and some houses. So I'm gonna stay going west right now and see if I can pick up on another trail which will allow me to access some terrain that I've been wanting to access for a long time, because it's terrain that has been landlocked forever, and I've been trying to figure out a way to get over to this area. So hopefully I can find another offshoot trail from this one. All right, stay tuned. Yeah, all these tracks up here are really fresh, so it's nice to see there's actually quite a bit of rabbit and elk activity up here. So yeah, there's rabbit tracks all over the place up here. See if we can see something in this culvert pipe, because I keep seeing tracks. Every time I see one of these culvert pipes, I'm seeing rabbit tracks running away from them. So I'm gonna point the camera down there, see if we can see anything. this is what I was really hoping to see. So this is awesome. I kind of saw this on my maps, but I wasn't sure if it really was a trail. It's definitely going to take me to this area that I've been wanting to access for a long time. So it's good to know that this is here, and it's also good to know that it is not private, and that this trailhead and this actual road right here is a public road. So this is awesome. All right, well, now that I've reached the summit here, I'm gonna go ahead and test out my GMRS radio and see if I can get a signal on here, but I don't know if my family has broken radio silence, because it's been a while since the last time I communicated with anyone, but I'll give it a shot.
Covey leader calling Raven. Come on, Raven.
Come in, over.
Covey leader calling Raven. Covey leader to Raven. Talk to me, Johnny.
Hey, can anyone hear me? Come in, over. I have a feeling they're just not near the radio. They have broken radio silence. All right, you guys, well, that'll about do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this solo overnight on an abandoned trail. I had a lot of fun, you know. All in all, I'd say it was a success. I was able to establish that trailhead, which allows me to access this land I've been interested in for a long time. And I was able to test out all this gear, which I think performed really well. Yeah, if you want to see more videos like this in the future, go ahead and hit that notification bell at the top of your screen. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel and hit that thumbs up button. Also, if you're interested in any of the gear that you've seen in this video, I'll make sure to leave links in the description where you can find it. Also, I have an Amazon influencer page, which has all of the gear that I use in all of my videos. But I'm going to go ahead and call it a day because my feet are getting soaked, as you can see. So that's definitely one thing I'm going to do differently the next time I come out here, is bring a better pair of boots. So all right, you guys, well, if you have any questions for me, go ahead and leave it in the comment section. And until the next one, stay prepared.